Good evening. I want to thank everybody for coming out to support these fine young musicians here at our first band concert this evening. I always love this first concert because, especially for the 7th graders, last time you got to hear them was playing Hang On Sleepy when they were just in the 6th grade band, and boy, you're going to be impressed with all the growth you've heard from them in the last few months. We're going to start off our part of the concert with a fun medley called To All a Goodnight. Features just several recognizable holiday songs that you'll certainly know. We take the bands to the Ohio Music Education Association adjudicated event. It's basically like our state proficiency test in the band world. We go and play for a panel of 3 judges who will give us some feedback and let us know how we do compared to their standards. Every year they always publish a list of required songs that we have to select from, and this is one of the pieces that is on the OMEA Class C list. So very proud of these kids that it's December and we're already working on contest music, playing contest level literature that we would play at the end of the school year instead. This piece is called Adversary, which, as the kids explained from their English classes, adversary is always the bad guy in the book, and I think that's a pretty good description of the song. something completely different. We always like to teach the kids in the band world that it's not always just about playing the loud, fast, aggressive stuff like Adversary. We also want to be able to play something that's a little slower, more expressive, a little more tender. The next piece we're going to play is definitely fits that mold. This is from the musical Meet Me in St. Louis, and it was made famous by Judy Garland, but really has been covered by many, many singers over the years. Judy Garland, Frank Sinatra, James Taylor, even Twisted Sister, although that version didn't quite match up with what we're trying to do with this band. This piece is called Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and just a really beautiful slow piece for the kids. Before we begin our last song for the 7th grade band, I would just like to highlight a few of the upcoming events in our program. Just like we played at one of the football games in the fall, we are going to be playing at 2 of the basketball games coming up here in January. Those are optional events for the kids, but always a lot of fun. They do get to get into the game for free. Both games are going to be at Finland. We're doing one of the girls' games and one of the boys' games, and again, optional events, so if you're on the team, we're there to cheer you on, but looking forward to a good time for those. I also have the date for our next concert is in there, our March concert. Looking forward to hearing these kids again in a few months. And then I would also like to point out the solo and ensemble date for the year is in there. That contest isn't until April, but we'll be doing the registration for it shortly after winter break. That's a really good opportunity for students to go and perform a piece by themselves or in a small group of 3 to 4 people with a few of their friends. Would really encourage all of our students to participate in that. Before we begin our next piece, this one's certainly a little more unique for the band. This is actually a setting of the famous Samuel Clemens poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, or most commonly known by its first line, Was the Night Before Christmas. This setting was done by James Swearingen, who's actually a local composer, was actually one of my professors at Capital University, and was Mr. Sturm's band director when he was in high school at Grove City. But we're going to be featuring the band as well as a narrator, reading parts of the poem in between our songs. So I'd like to welcome to the stage our narrator for the evening, the assistant principal at Finland Middle School, Mr. Jason Phillips.
Christmas, when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mama in her kerchief, and I in my cap, had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there rose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of a midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer, with a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away all, as dry leaves that before the wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with the sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. twinkle I heard on the roof, the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I drew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. A bundle of toys he had flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard of his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump and a right old jolly elf, and I laughed when I saw him in spite of myself. Twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work. He filled all the stockings, then turned with a jerk, and laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney, he rose. He sprang to his sleigh, his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the down of a thistle. But I heard him exclaim, as he drove out of sight, "Happy Christmas to all, and to all good night."
So much. They did a great job, didn't they? We're just gonna have a brief intermission as we get our jazz band on stage, and then after that will be the 8th grade band. Thank you so much.